This is a poem I wrote for Julia and Joshua. We had some problems at the wedding, as is usual, and not all of the poem could be heard by everybody. And so this is a recording for you folks who didn't hear it, and for Julia and Joshua to enjoy it again if they really want to. So, Julia meets Joshua as heart meets heart. And if you will excuse me, as Julia doesn't like poetry, this is well known as Tennyson meets Longfellow, with apologies to both in Hiawatha Goes to Camelot. Should you ask me whence this story, from where this legend and tradition, with the odours of the forest, with the fumes from off the highway, and the smell of upset skunk walking bold into your campground, I will answer, I will tell you, I made it up. In the land of big wet water, by the shoreside of the lake, by the beach there in a building, sat the Josh, the scientific, sat alone there with his test tubes, with his litmus and his Bunsen, sat and tested things for testing. Tested water, tested wild rice, tested samples, tested fragments, sometimes tested specimens. And as he tested, his mind wandered to Camelot or Bloomington. On either side the freeway lie fields of weeds, all burnt and dry, and Julia let out a sigh. Nobody really knew quite why. She's quite the drama queen. And Julia set quite a pace, as down the road she did race, and she pulled an unusual face, the one we all have seen. And in the quiet of her room, in the red wall-painted gloom, although she didn't have a loom, her mind spun round till it went boom, our lovely drama queen. And up the stairs she did go to practice on the piano, so glad she didn't have a beau, a happy single scene. Back beside the splashy waters, where the Josh, the scientific, finished testing things for testing, cleaned and packed away his test tubes, made his lab bench clean and tidy, made his lab bench clear and ready for another day of testing, for tests would recommence next day, wandered home unto his small pad, his abode of great manliness, for there was no woman there. As he made his single supper, his mind reached out, his heart wandered to the land of the Dakotas, to the house of many daughters, to the home of Ron, their father, home of Ron, the great wood carver, where among the single sisters lived the fairest, lived the sweetest, and thus the Josh, the scientific, set out for Camelot or Bloomington. For yellow walls with trees outside describes the house in which did hide the one whose thoughts of being a bride were cynical though never sudden-eyed, our lovely drama queen. But glancing out the window there, she saw a brave step out a car, her heart lit up like a bright star, the brightest ever seen. Was it then for tools of woodwork, Japanese, tools of woodwork, advice of woodwork, that the Josh, the scientific, came to the land of the Dakotas? Was it not to see the maiden, to see the fairest face of all them, to see her play on the piano, to see her smile and walk beside her, which many thought just could not happen, that Josh could smile at a maiden, and Julia would smile back? For in the darkest winter weather, fair Julia sat and wondered whether she could ever get together, and the answer seemed to come back never, to our sad drama queen. But then she came to understand that firm of brow and strong of hand, She had her Hiawatha grand, someone to share her dream. So the Josh, the scientific, went back to the big wet water, went back to his small apartment, hunted for his mighty bow, made of wood with string attached, and he found it, and he took it, and he drew it from the bow case, drew it forth and held it high, drew it as he stood and pondered, drew it as he meditated, drew it across his violin, drew it as his mother taught him. But it could not satisfy. So he decided, the scientific, to make a box for Camelot, sweet Camelot, or Bloomington. Then the Josh, the scientific, made a box of finest woodwork, put inside the box an object, put it with the object inside, for otherwise it would fall outside, and that would have been a downside, for the object contained inside was a token of affection. It was a gift, it was a question, it was a promise of contentment, and taking this box with him, he brought the box to Camelot, fair Camelot, or Bloomington, offered this box unto the maiden, and she told him yes. No broken mirror on her wall, for answering to true love's call, and leaving piano, red room, and all, to get married in the fall, our lovely drama queen. And you'll agree, as I say, they're looking on this happy day, that the best thing has come their way, the best they've ever seen. Thank you very much.